I got sent a couple of reaction videos for this episode, and this first one actually is three separate videos in one. So all in all, you're going to get four reactions to this episode. In this first one that we're going to watch, I just want you to pay attention to behind the car in the woods. And this is from Red's Creepy Clips. So let's take a look at it, and I will what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause halfway through it, and I'll probably rewind it and talk about it again.
Video, we have security footage of a person searching their car for something. As they're looking in the trunk, something can be seen moving in the woods. Let's take a look.
Okay, I don't know if you noticed it or not in the background, but somebody or some figure walking through the woods. So they're asserting that it's a ghost walking through the woods. And I think the reason they say that is it's kind of translucent a little bit, and then about halfway through or right about the roof of the car, it seems like it kneels down and disappears. So watch it again, and then I will comment on it in full.
Video, we have security footage of a person searching their car for something. As they're looking in the trunk, something can be seen moving in the woods. Let's take a look.
Now, the fact that the guy doesn't notice anything is not a big deal because he's got his head in the trunk and it's not really at eye level with what was behind him in the woods. Could it be a ghost? Absolutely, it could be. But to me, it almost looks like it's so far away from the camera that it's probably just a person walking through there, and why they seem to disappear is they either kneel down or bend over to pick something up, and maybe they're still on the ground. We don't have the rest of the footage to see if they popped back up and walked away or not. So to me, it almost looks like a person just walking through the woods, but I could be wrong. They could be a ghost that, dropped their phone or their wallet or something.
In this clip, we have a woman.
Okay, you've probably seen this video before, but it was included in the package. But I really can't stand these videos, but I'll talk about it afterwards. Just pay attention.
Who's recording her reflection in a mirror. While recording, she noticed something spooky. Let's watch.
Okay, I'm sure you've seen the one allegedly in the mirror move its eyes when the one in the real world didn't. And I know there are people out there that believe that mirrors are windows to the soul, windows to the other regions, other dimensions, all of that, that ghosts hide in mirrors and yada, yada, yada. But this is just so easily created by people. Could be something they did on their computer. They stitched two pieces together. It could be twins. It could be a lot of things. So, do I buy those? No. I tend to believe that it was probably just something created. And the reason I'm glad that it was included is because the reaction was, they sold it genuinely, even though I don't believe that it was real. The reason that I say that is this next clip is very interesting because, well, just watch and we'll talk about it some more.
This clip is from Flat 7 Ghost and features a couple enjoying a peaceful moment on their sofa. However, as they unwind, an unexpected and eerie event unfolds. Let's take a look.
And the moment I was in the air, it was absolutely marvelous.
Now, what I'll say about that video was it is very interesting. As a person that's interested in ghostly activity, I used to be in a paranormal group, as you all know. It's interesting because I don't judge it by the cup sliding on the coffee table. I judge it by the reactions. And his reactions seem very genuine. That cup sliding could have easily been recreated by somebody out of the camera shot with a string attached to it or fishing line or something like that. So it could have been easily been done. But I'm not saying it wasn't. It was interesting because his reaction was genuine. Hers, and maybe she's just not somebody that moves really quickly. Hers was genuine, but not quite as much as his. He genuinely seemed startled by it. So I tend to think that this might be an actual clip. One of the only things that I would really like to know is, why was the camera set up in the living room pointing right at them? Have they had experiences before and that's why they set their cameras up in there to record them? It could be the fact, because I know that's happened a lot. So I'd like to know more about the case. But it was an interesting clip nonetheless. I tend to think that, yeah, that one might have been actually real. But let me know what you think in the comments about all three of the clips that you saw. If you're a football fan, an NFL fan, then you know the 2025 draft was this past weekend, and it was held in Green Bay this year. It was a fun little event, and that little is a little jab at Green Bay coming from those of us here in Michigan, because last year in Detroit was bigger. But all jokes aside, it was a great event. Green Bay did a fantastic job. And as usual, the post-draft grades are starting to come out for each team. Every website that covers the NFL always comes out with draft grades after the draft has concluded. Some of them do it after each round. And this year, the big winners of the draft happen to be, according to Pro Football Focus, the Arizona Cardinals, which they did have a pretty damn good draft on paper, the Carolina Panthers, and the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys were an interesting draft. They all got A-plus grades. The two teams that PFF claims didn't have a good draft are the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers. But I just mentioned I was from Michigan, so I centered more on what happened in the NFC North. And Pro Football Focus gave my Lions a B- grade. And I think that's probably about right. I made the mistake during the draft every time the Lions made a pick to look at the comment section of my fellow fans on the Detroit Lions social media platforms. And of course, all the armchair general managers out there were mocking a lot of the picks that the Lions made. And I talked about this on an episode of Too Boldly Pod a while ago about how we have had some success here in Detroit the last couple of years, and it's the first time we've really had success in a very long time. So we don't really know how to react when things don't necessarily go our way. But I want to remind my fellow Lions fans, we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. Just because we're starting to we look like a good team, a team that's always going to be feared, at least right now. We still haven't won anything. So we still have to cross that hump. We haven't even been to a Super Bowl. So just take it easy on the arrogance. Well, yeah, I still have faith in this team, this general manager, this coaching staff. We'll see this year how good Dan Campbell is. He's on his second set of, technically, it's his third set of offensive coordinators, with both of them leaving for head coaching jobs. But Ben Johnson's in Chicago now, and Aaron Glenn's coaching the Jets. So we have two brand new coordinators. We're going to find out how this team does this year. On paper, it should be one of the top teams in the NFC, if not the NFL again. Most, I should say, of the injuries that the Lions suffered last year will be back. At some point, all of them will be back throughout the season. So did the Lions address what they needed in the draft? Yeah, I think they did. But it's the draft. We never really know what's going to happen with all these players that get drafted. Just think of the draft in and of itself. The big story in the draft this year was Shedeur Sanders, that a lot of people had chosen to be the, if not the number one draft pick in the entire draft, in the top 10. And just about all of them had him in the first round. Well, look what happened. He fell all the way to the 5th round. So we don't really know. It's kind of a crapshoot when you draft players. They might be superstars in college, but you will always hear players talk about how different the NFL game is compared to college. It's much more physical. It's a whole hell of a lot faster, right down to the most minute details. So we can't really say if these players are, quote, generational, the most overused word in sports, until they actually get on the field. So am I happy with the draft? I guess for addressing what they needed, I am. I will say this. The Lions are going to be a good team. Will these players they've added help? I think so, but we're not going to find out until late August when they actually start playing. Let me know what you thought of your favorite team's draft in the comments, and how you think it's going to help or hinder their upcoming season. Oh, we haven't done a top 5 list in a few episodes, so I thought it would be fun to do one to sort of close shop on this episode. And we have the top 5 most expensive music videos ever made. You remember music videos, don't you? I'm sure they still have them now, but they were bigger. Actually, from about the 90s on, they ceased being as prevalent. And this is coming from old man. Get the hell off my lawn. Anyways, the top 5 most expensive music videos ever made. Have you got your pick ready yet? At number 5, the song is What's It Gonna Be by Janet Jackson and Busta Rhymes. At number 4, the song Heartbreaker by Mariah Carey. Those were $2.4 million for Janet Jackson and Busta Rhymes, $2.5 million for Mariah Carey. At number 3, at $2.7 million, the song Victory by Puff Daddy. You know, Sean Combs. It's a lot of baby oil, isn't it? Too soon. At number 2, at $6 million to make the video, song by Madonna. Her effort for the Bond franchise and Die Another Day. Often considered one of the worst Bond theme songs, but I digress. And at number 1, with a total cost of $7 million to make, from the album called History, the song is called Scream, and it's by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. Did you get any of those top 5s? If so, let me know in the comments which one you think would be more expensive, or should be in the list, I suppose I should say. And that wraps up another episode of Spock Rock After Dark. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to click like and subscribe so you're notified each time I release a new episode. I really would love to hear your comments as well, because as you can see, it's after dark and nothing good ever happens until after dark.